Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Web Solution Master. If you're building a Next.js application, you know that authentication isn't just a feature, it's a critical foundation for security and user experience. But let's be honest, it can get complicated fast. Which strategy should you use? How do you protect your API roots? What about social logins? Today we're going to demystify it all. This is your complete guide to mastering authentication in Next.js. We'll cover everything from the ground up, so whether you're a beginner or looking to level up your security game, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. First up, let's talk about the powerhouse of Next.js authentication. Next.auth.js. If you want a solution that's incredibly flexible and easy to set up, this is it. Next.auth.js simplifies everything from session management to social logins. Imagine adding Google, GitHub, or Twitter login to your app in just a few lines of code. That's the power we're talking about. We'll walk through the initial setup, step by step. I'll show you how to configure your providers, set up the API route that handles all the magic. Behind the scenes, and how to use the use session hook on the client side to easily access user data and authentication status. By the end of this section, you'll have a fully functional, secure login system ready to go. It's the perfect starting point for most Next.js projects. So, you've got users logging in. Great, but what happens when they try to access a page or an API endpoint that's only for authenticated users? This is where root protection comes in, and Next.js Middleware is our best friend here. Middleware allows you to run code before a request is completed. Think of it as a security guard for your roots. You can check a user's session token right at the edge before our server-side code even runs. If the user isn't logged in, we can redirect them to the login page. If they are, we let them proceed. I'll show you how to create a middleware TS file, how to configure the matcher to specify which roots you want to protect, like your dashboard or profile pages, and how to handle both API roots and regular pages. This is a powerful, efficient way to secure your application and ensure that sensitive data and pages are only accessible to authorized users. Now, let's talk about leveling up our security. A username and password are good, but in today's world, it's often not enough. This is where two-factor authentication, or 2FA, comes in. 2FA adds a crucial second layer of security by requiring users to provide two different types of credentials before they can access their account. This usually involves something they know, like their password, and something they have, like a code from an authenticator app on their phone. Implementing 2FA might sound complex, but with libraries like Next.auth.js, it's more accessible than you think. We'll explore how to extend our existing authentication flow to include a 2FA setup step. I'll guide you through generating a secret key for the user, displaying it as a QR code they can scan with an app like Google Authenticator, and then verifying the one-time password they provide. Adding this single feature can drastically improve your application's security and give your users peace of mind. One of the most powerful aspects of Next.js is its versatile data fetching strategies. You've got server-side rendering, static site generation, and client-side rendering. But how does authentication fit into each of these patterns? This is a question that trips up a lot of developers. Let's break it down. For a highly dynamic, user-specific page like a dashboard, you'll likely use server-side rendering with get server-side props. We all see how to check the user's session on the server and fetch their data before the page even renders. For pages with some static content, but also dynamic user-specific elements, you might pre-render the static shell and then fetch user data on the client. We'll use the use session hook for that. And what about API roots? We'll cover how to secure those server-side so they can only be called by authenticated clients. Understanding how to match your authentication pattern to your data fetching strategy is key to building performant and secure Next.js apps. Beyond just logging users in, we need to think about overall application security. One of the most effective and often overlooked ways to do this is by using custom security headers. These are HTTP response headers that tell the browser how to behave, helping to prevent common attacks like cross-site scripting or XSS and clickjacking. We can easily add these headers in our Next.config.js file. We'll go over some of the most important ones like Content Security Policy, or CSP, which lets you control which resources the browser is allowed to load. We'll also look at X-content type options to prevent MIME sniffing, frame options to stop clickjacking, and strict transport security to enforce HTTPS. I'll explain what each header does and give you a practical configuration you can drop right into your project. It's a simple step that provides a huge boost to your application's security posture. While Next.auth.js is an amazing all-in-one solution, the world of authentication is vast. Sometimes your project might have different needs, or you might want to integrate with a dedicated identity platform. That's why it's great to know about other powerful options like Auth0 and Firebase Authentication. Auth0 is a feature-rich, enterprise-grade identity-as-a-service platform. It handles everything from simple social logins to complex B2B and enterprise federation. We'll do a quick overview of how you can integrate the Auth Next.js SDK into your app. Then we'll look at Firebase Authentication. If you're already in the Google Cloud ecosystem, Firebase offers a super seamless experience with a generous free tier. It's incredibly easy to set up and provides a simple, unified API for managing users across web and mobile. We'll explore the pros and cons of each so you can make an informed decision and choose the right provider for your specific project needs. Knowing these alternatives makes you a more versatile and resourceful developer. So, let's recap what we've covered. We started with the fundamentals, implementing a complete authentication system with Next.auth.js, including social logins. Then we secured our application's routes using Next.js middleware, ensuring only logged-in users can access protected content. We took our security to the next level by implementing two-factor authentication. We also dived deep into how authentication patterns work with Next.js's different data fetching strategies, a crucial concept for building efficient apps. We hardened our application by adding important security headers, and finally, we expanded our toolkit by exploring powerful alternative providers like Auth0 and Firebase. You now have a comprehensive understanding of how to handle authentication in a modern Next.js application, from basic setup to advanced security measures. The key is to choose the right tools and patterns for your project's needs. And that's a wrap on our complete guide to mastering authentication in Next.js. I hope you found this deep dive helpful and that you feel more confident tackling security in your own projects. Building secure applications is one of the most important responsibilities we have as developers, and with these tools and techniques, you're well equipped for the job. If you learned something new today, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to see more content like this on Next.js, web development, and software engineering, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Got any questions or ideas for a future topic? Drop them in the comments below. I love hearing from you all. Thanks for watching, and happy coding.